What's up guys, my name is Ace, and it's that time of the year for me to share my aiming/warm-up drill with you guys for Black Ops Cold War. This is a video I do every single year because I feel drills like this can be very valuable if you're looking to improve your aim and your ability to win gunfights more effectively, and also these drills are just great for warm-ups as well. And just like all of my drills, this will of course be in custom games against bots. And let's start off with the game settings that we want to use, and then I'll get into exactly what you want to be doing and what you want to be focusing on in order to maximize the effectiveness of this drill. So hopping into a custom game, first up I would recommend using Nuketown 1984. Normally I wouldn't choose Nuketown, but when you compare it to the other maps that are available in the game at the moment, Nuketown is simply your best bet for this particular drill. Then when it comes to game mode, we want to choose free-for-all, and then we want to go in and edit the game rules. And we don't have to change too much here. I would set the time limit and score limit to unlimited, unless you just want to do it for a certain period of time, then you can set your time or score limit. But I like going unlimited with both of those. Then if we scroll down to the gameplay settings, I like turning off the cinematic intro. It just saves a little bit of time loading up the map. Also the pre-match timer, I just turn that all the way down to 5 seconds. And then a really important setting here we want to change is our mini-map. We want that to be constant, so we can always see where the bots are, so we can find our targets more effectively, and therefore just chain our kills together as fast as possible. After that, if we tab over to our health and damage settings, I just wanted to point out that I'm leaving the health at 150, which is the standard health in this game. In many previous Call of Duty games for the aiming drill, I would bump the bot's health up a little bit so that you can better train staying on target for a longer period of time, but I feel like since the time to kill is already longer in this game, just leaving it at 150 health is best. And that's pretty much it for our settings. We don't have a ton of control over custom games at this point in the game's lifecycle. If you want, you could also go in and disable like shotguns and score streaks and things that might be kind of annoying and just break up your flow, but that's really up to you. Now let's move on to the bots. Now what we want to do is add the maximum number of bots that we're able to add, so just keep adding them till it fills right up. And then we want to go to our bot settings and we want to turn the bot difficulty to recruit. Now, this is something I always get asked about. Why do you use recruit bots instead of using a more difficult bot to fight against? Wouldn't it be better practice to play against better bots? And the simple reason we're using recruit bots is these are targets. That is all they're meant to be, is targets to shoot at. When performing drills with anything, it's all about repetition and making sure that you've got good form while you're repeating whatever you're trying to improve at. If you set the bot difficulty higher and the bots are actually challenging you and potentially hurting you or killing you, that's just going to break up your flow and reduce the number of repetitions you're going to get within a given period of time. So we want to maximize those repetitions, keep that flow going constantly, and we don't want the bots to be interrupting that. Remember, they're just targets to shoot at. If we're comparing this to a sports drill, for instance, think of the bots as pylons rather than actual opponents that you're going up against. I'm fully aware of the fact that a recruit bot isn't going to move or behave at all like a regular player in a real game, but that's fine. They're just targets to shoot at. And that covers it for the game settings. Now let's get into the different variants of this drill, since I do have multiple variants this time around that all use the same game settings, they just use a different class setup for practicing a different style of play. So with the first variant here, this is my traditional sort of aiming drill. I'm choosing an assault rifle, and I like the Krig 6 for this because it's just a nice, accurate, easy to control gun where headshots actually matter. And it is good practice in this game to be actively trying to get some headshots, at least every now and then. Doesn't have to be every single kill, but you want to try and mix some headshots in, at least sometimes. But with this, I also use the Gunfighter wildcard, and I just max it out on attachments. I'll show you guys the attachments that I'm using here. You can really use whatever you're comfortable with, but I personally like this setup. One of the keys, though, is using the Salvo 50-round fast mag. And this just allows us to maximize our ammo count, and it also allows us a near instant reload, which is great, which allows us to just keep that action going and keep those repetitions going as efficiently as possible. The only other thing that's absolutely necessary on your class is Scavenger for your tier 2 perk. Everything else you can just put on whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. And with this, if you hop into the game, basically all we're doing here is shooting bots and really focusing on our accuracy. With this drill, accuracy always comes first, and then you want to try and build up that rhythm, that momentum, and that speed so that you're able to snap on a target quickly and snap between targets really quickly as well. That's a really important secondary skill that we're trying to develop, is that ability to snap between targets. But during this drill, that should never come at the cost of your accuracy. If you notice that you're getting a little too trigger happy and you're missing shots and start to get a little bit sloppy, that's bad practice, and that's going to help you develop bad habits. So if you start noticing that you're doing that, slow things down a little bit, focus on aim, and then build that rhythm back up again. Also with this drill, I encourage you to not just sit in one spot and sort of pre-aim things and wait for bots to walk into your sight. You want to actually be moving around the map, focusing on your centering, so make sure you're keeping your crosshairs up and centered where you're going to be running into your targets. That's also very good practice, and a common beginner mistake is poor centering, so it's a great way to start correcting that. And then yeah, from there, that's pretty much it. Like I said, sometimes you can really put a lot of focus on trying to get those headshots and mix the headshots in with body shots. Other times it's fine to just snap onto the body and get a bunch of body shot kills. But just make sure that you're really focusing on that accuracy. Now, like I said earlier, I've actually got a few different variants of this drill, and this drill can also be used to practice quickscoping, for instance. So for me, I threw this setup together with the Pellington. Again, you can use whatever setup you're comfortable with, but I find this one is pretty good for practicing with quickscoping. And then I just hopped in and I did the same thing. I tried to move around the map. I avoided pre-aiming whenever possible. And I actually started to notice, just after about 10 minutes or so of doing this, I was starting to get quite a bit better. And I'm not the most competent quickscoper out there, as you can probably tell by a bunch of the misses I'm getting on bots that are standing perfectly still. But that's what these drills are for. The more you do them, the more muscle memory you're going to be building up. And if you do it enough, snapping on a target quickly is just going to be a natural thing that happens. But finally, I've got one other variant of this drill, and this is using an SMG. And this is to sort of practice your cracked out play, as a lot of people like to call it. And with this, it's the same sort of idea. Accuracy comes first and then speed. But also with this, we're going to be focusing a lot on our movement around the map, and more specifically, our evasive movement when challenging gunfights. This is a great way to practice jump shotting into a gunfight, or sliding into a gunfight, or chaining a combination of both of those into a gunfight while still maintaining accuracy. And once you start getting to the higher levels of play, this sort of stuff is very important if you want to be an aggressive SMG player. So I would say the SMG version of this drill is a little bit more advanced than the assault rifle version of it, but it's also going to be extremely helpful for improving your game and improving your reaction time and your ability to snap onto those targets quickly while also evading their shots. And that pretty much covers it for the 3 different variants I have for this aiming drill. There is one big thing I want to touch on for controller players, because up until now, this drill is for anybody. Mouse and keyboard, controller, doesn't really matter. But there is one specific setting I wanted to talk about for controller players out there, and this is your aim assist. For many people, when doing drills, they like to disable their aim assist so that they can practice without aim assist, and then when they get into a real game, they turn that aim assist back on. And for many people, this makes them feel much more accurate once they get into a real game while using aim assist. So it's something you may want to try out for yourself, but I wanted to mention that I don't disable my aim assist in practice because I like practicing with the same tools that I'm going to be playing with. And if you aren't practicing with the aim assist that you're going to be using in-game, then that can cause you to start undershooting or overshooting your target once you turn aim assist back on, because it's going to be a totally different feel when you start aiming at enemy players now that you have aim assist when you've been practicing without that aim assist. So I'm not necessarily saying it's wrong to turn off aim assist in practice and then turn it back on for real games, and that does work for some people, but I personally don't like it. And with that, that's going to wrap it up for today's video. I'd recommend doing this drill as often as you reasonably can if you're really trying to improve your gameplay. For many people, it's a great idea to do this for like 10 minutes every time you log in to play for a couple hours. Just spend the first 10 minutes doing this drill. It'll be a great way to warm up so that you're ready to go against real players when you get into the game. And also over time, if you're doing this every single day or every day that you're playing throughout a week, then your overall gameplay is also going to be improving much more rapidly than if you were to just hop in and start playing the game normally. And yeah, that's all I've got for you guys today. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated. And don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.